Hello and welcome to another episode of The Aftermath. My name is Ian, and as always, I'm joined by Dylan.
Yes.
And we have another. We have the
triple.
Another surprise appearance
exactly.
I'm not really. You can't say as always, because I'm here.
Ever absent.
Right.
I'm here.
Ever absent.
Yeah, I'm here a good 45 to 60% of the time.
Right. What is it? The occasionally.
Yeah.
Dependable.
Oh, I'm just dependable, just not here.
Right.
Dependable, just not here.
Well, hopefully we'll have you on the next episode as well. We really got to make that happen because it is episode. We haven't said this explicitly on the show.
Now that I'm not as busy,
we haven't explicitly said this on the episode, but this episode is episode 116. And was that your call for the waiter to get more drink?
No, I was just looking at how the bottom of it's a square, but then it rounds out like the glass melted a little bit.
Nice.
Oh, shit.
That's how they're supposed to look, but it's like it looks funny. That was my call for the waiter.
He just picked up his glass and went ding ding ding.
Yeah, I don't know if you could hear it, but I was just,
was that you asked me to get you some drink?
Yeah, no, I don't ask.
Pause the podcast. Don't get this man a beverage.
As a segue to where you're going with this, I know not to ask Dylan for water anymore because he brings it in random mugs to his house. One time being the Master Chief coffee mug that I had,
nice.
And I was like,
do you really deserve any less?
He was like, I got you what you wanted, and I was like, I mean, to be fair, I said I was gonna get myself a glass of water. I wanted a glass of water, and you bring me a mug of water. Nice. There's less water in here. It's hard to drink out of. And he was like, shut up. I was like, next time I'll get my own water.
I'm sorry, mister, I like everything on hard mode. I thought you wanted to drink water on hard mode.
Yeah, exactly. The problem is I don't like my hydration on hard mode. I feel like my life is on hard mode.
I thought you said drink water on
stay that way.
Legendary mode. Yeah. Thank you very much.
He puts a whiskey rock in there too, so I take a sip and just punches my face with ice.
Nice.
But that was a segue into Master Chief, episode 117. I have to be here for this.
So this episode is 116, and the next one is 117. And Dylan thought it would be very apt if we really just dedicate that one to the man, the myth, the legend himself, Master Chief.
The Chaster Meave.
For those of you who don't know, that is was that like his call sign or his number?
His number.
His number, like on his
I was about to
suit.
say, I didn't know that. Yeah.
From Halo. Halo, he's got the numbers 117. So it's going to be fully dedicated to all that kind of fun stuff. So
that's going to be so much fun. I can't wait for that one.
Oh, yeah. I think it's going to be really interesting.
Oh, yeah.
But this episode was kind of a last-minute one. I was, to be honest, was not planning on recording this episode today.
Yeah.
So
spur of the moment.
Yeah.
But I've been wanting to watch Fantasia for a while now.
Oh, yeah.
Since it was brought up, like randomly.
Yeah.
And he was like, "You haven't seen it?" That's why the podcast was formed. Was every time he'd mention a movie or make a reference, and I'd be like, "Yeah, no, I haven't seen that crap."
Oh, dude, the other podcast
and
that I host and produce and all that kind of stuff, there was a long stint in time where like I don't think they fully understood. I mean, I think they did, but they also like to play it up a little bit. I don't think they understood what this show is.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they don't need to. They shouldn't. It's hard to understand.
You're right, but is that
you wouldn't understand?
This is a show in which, the two of us watch movies that we have more than likely, Ethan and I, for instance, more than likely have not watched before because of we just never really grew up watching a whole lot of films about certain things.
I mean, my mom watched a lot of like 80s TV and old TV shows, so like Walker, Texas Ranger, and Barnaby Jones. I've seen plenty of Barnaby Jones, right? But boy, have I not seen The Breakfast Club, or I mean, I have now.
The original Brady Bunch.
But like, I hadn't seen the Titanic or The Breakfast Club or like movies that everyone watches in the time whenever I was growing up.
I'm saying that because they would say they would make a reference to a movie or they would say something like, "Oh, have you seen that one?" I was like, "No, I haven't." And they're like, "Oh my God, I can't believe it!" And you haven't watched it on your show, and I was like, "Oh, again, we're trying to work our way through things like that. We're trying to get better."
Right.
This being
I'm
one
trying
of them.
to scrub away that annoying ass response that you two have been plagued with.
Yes, our entire
No, don't worry,
lives.
it's not going anywhere. It hasn't still.
It will always be present.
Luckily, though, there's a couple of times where someone will make a reference, and I'll be like, "I get that one now," and they'd be like, "Oh, so you have seen that one?" And I'm like, "Yeah."
I still think it's funny. Like I had a conversation about this recently that it's funny how there's sometimes really obscure movies I never heard of that these friends of mine that I'm talking about will conversate about. And like you can almost throw out, just like with many band names like we've done in the past, joking around about album titles and band names and being all joking and goofy.
You could say any combination of 3 words and say it's a movie.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah,
like
that's
and it's like and I would have no idea that that's even a movie or that's like been pivotal to the history of filmmaking.
What, you haven't seen the Splash-tastic Animal Wars
Yes.
3?
What about The Big Descent?
Or bone cream.
Yeah, okay, Bone Cream, that happened in the movie.
Yeah.
We're fast forwarding, that happened in the Bone Cream.
Right, Bone Cream.
I was eating ice cream and I said, cream, and he thought I was with the bones, and it was on a
Right.
moon. And
It was
like,
a
Bone
desert
Cream.
wasteland.
I couldn't help it.
it's
You
my
were
next-
talking about band
Yeah.
names.
It's my death metal band. We drop our new mixtape, Bone Cream, at midnight. Yeah.
It came from that movie, The T-Shirt Bandit. You never seen The T-Shirt Bandit?
Bro,
Like,
how
come
have
on.
you not seen? Yeah,
I'm like, what? I don't.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I don't.
You
what-
haven't seen Wolves on a Train yet?
No, Wolves
It's
on
like
a
Snakes
Train,
on a
yeah.
Plane, but with wolves
Okay,
on
but
a
that
train.
one's real.
No, that one is.
Yeah.
That's the problem, right? You think that I'm joking, but that one's real.
Uh-huh.
You've never seen The Eyes Have Hills? Gosh, so dumb.
Oh,
Let me make fun of you for not seeing
right.
The
Look
Wolves
at this-
Among Us.
Look at this Among Us.
You
Among
fucking
Us?
plebeian.
Yeah, let me
Yeah.
roast this guy for seeing a movie that 98% of the population
Right,
hasn't
right.
heard
What
of.
Fucking
about-
media peasant?
Yeah,
That didn't even make it in the box office.
What about?
But he's
the,
seen Velocipaster.
Yes.
That's
Right.
the biggest roast.
What
is
about
that I've seen
what about the
Velocipaster.
hottest horror movie, The Darkest Dirt?
Yeah.
Like you know.
That's the biggest
Oh,
roast that I get
Jesus.
nowadays is that I've seen Chud and Velocipaster,
Oh,
but,
man.
but I
Okay.
have.
Do
Hey,
not,
hey, do
no, but
do
the thing,
not besmirch Chuck.
I'm not besmirching it. The problem is most people haven't heard of Chud, and the issue is I've seen Chud and Velocipaster, but I haven't seen what was another one of the Disney movies that we looked over.
Horse
Oh.
sense.
No, that we looked over that I haven't seen. What was it?
I
Oh,
see.
Pinocchio. That
Yeah.
was it. I haven't seen Pinocchio in my entire life, and they're like, "You haven't seen Pinocchio, but you've seen a movie called Chud," and I was like, "All right, listen, we're working
Why
on
the
it."
fuck haven't you seen
Right.
Chuck?
Exactly. The
You
question is,
bitch.
one that I think is
and I
underrated.
would watch Chud again before I watch Pinocchio. Sorry, Pinocchio.
Oh,
One
yeah.
that I think is underrated. I think more people need to, and I want to watch again.
Chud.
Is Cobra.
Yes,
Dude.
dude.
Wait, is that one that I
It's
was?
a Stallone.
You were not on
classic.
that
No.
one.
I would rewatch Horse Sense and Chud in a heartbeat. In
Oh,
fact, whenever we were
yes.
looking through Disney movies to watch while we were bored the other day, we passed Horse Sense, and I was like, "Bro, do we watch this again? We should watch this
Yeah,
again."
we should
and we
definitely
I was close to being like, "No, we're watching
Yeah.
this again." We settled on Aladdin, by the way, epic.
Right.
So, love that.
But anyways, back to the topic at hand.
oh yeah, we watched a movie. That's the whole point of the.
Yes. The 1940 Fantasia,
Yeah,
a visual orchestra.
It
The
was neat.
crazy thing
it was, dude. Mickey's voice actor.
is the original voice actor.
Yeah, the original voice actor for Mickey sounds so different than the one now. And I didn't realize
Yeah.
the voice is so much less high. I could do a Mickey Mouse impression. I couldn't easily do a Mickey Mouse impression for the original one. It's so much less high pitch and weird and fake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It literally just sounds like a guy. In fact, the guy that what was his name? The guy who was the conductor.
Mhm.
Leopold.
Leopold.
Okay,
Stokowski.
it sounds like Leopold is talking as Leopold, and then is just a straight up grown man talking as Mickey Mouse with a high pitched
Right,
voice.
yeah.
It doesn't sound like a abnormally high pitched
Mhm.
voice. It just sounds like an old dude being like, "Well, I'm Mickey Mouse."
Yeah.
It's not even like, oh man, that was like the only thing that really that
Yeah.
hit me from the beginning. But the rest of it doesn't have any like really words. It's just an orchestra with epic music and scenery, which was pretty badass. I kind of liked it. I liked it a lot. I thought that was pretty cool.
Oh,
The
yeah.
biggest story I have is something that happened to me last night
Oh, yeah.
that is like attributed with this film.
Really?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the same reason why I got really heated about certain like music topics on this show, or I get heated about some of it, is because like I love music. Music is how I've expressed myself for a long time.
Right.
It's one of those forms,
It
one
is
of
a
those
passion.
mediums, exactly. And this film is like a visual representation of of music and how you see and perceive and that kind of thing, and other storytelling elements, which I think is really cool.
Oh, yeah.
And I think it's really awesome. But this movie really has the chance to show you some really awesome like orchestral pieces.
Mhm.
And
This is how I found out about Igor Stravinsky,
oh really?
who is my all-time favorite
Yeah.
composer.
Oh yeah. That's really cool.
Motherfucker uses cannons,
Mhm.
actual cannons, as an instrument.
Right.
It's amazing.
But I loved this. I loved watching this movie
Mhm.
because of the aspect of all of like the music being so pivotal to like to what this movie
Oh,
is.
yeah.
There's no, besides like the dialogue of our guy like kind of leading us through what's happening here. There's no actual audio besides the music in the actual animated sections.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really cool. To get to that part that I was talking about where something happened to me personally, I had the chance to, there's a big ceremony happening at like a Methodist church in our local area. And it was a very big sanctuary. It was very beautiful. But this is that same sort of feeling that I attribute to like the atmosphere of music.
Yeah.
The sound design may not have been that great because it's a 1940s film, so you may not be able to get all those
that was the best they had.
Exactly. You may not get all the
in the
little intricacies that like you would hear like from a live
I would
orchestra.
describe it as not so like crisp, but still powerful.
Yeah, you can still get all the little details of it, and it really does mean something in context with the visuals. But like, there is a difference between hearing that and seeing that and experiencing that, and then also like seeing an orchestra.
Yeah.
And like being in that moment, which is so awesome. And I think I've talked, if not on this show before, I've talked somewhere online about that feeling that we had whenever I went to go see Yanni with you and Dad, Ethan, and it was just a crazy experience because it was just that same sort of situation of like this atmosphere you're a part of, and it was so cool. And
that was really cool.
Feel something. I had a similar situation going to that ceremony that I was talking about. Yeah, where they had a huge pipe organ, and sometimes I'm not really a big fan of organ. I'm not really a big fan of the pipe organ. I almost said porgan unintentionally.
Honestly, the porgan's kind of a mid instrument. If you ask me,
it's just sometimes it has that. I have friends that don't like the saxophone for the same reason. They're like, it's just a little. It's so
just can't jive.
It's just too much, and I'm like, and I get that. Sometimes for me, the organ is a bit too much, like a huge like. Full
Oregon's not my favorite state either. It's pretty rough.
But the thing is that by me saying that is that I'm more on the side of I still like the organ, the pipe organ, for what it is. Yeah, it is. There's a reason why I feel like back in like the medieval time or times before that and so on and so forth, like big Catholic churches. It probably gives that sense of holiness and wonder because you're able to make an instrument out of a building. Right. You are able to make these pipes and these tubes and shove it inside of a building and this whole mechanism that has this
I can't
like.
think of any other instance that an organ has been used other than a church.
It's pretty much the only place that I've seen them.
I've seen some in big stadiums. A big thing that you probably don't realize is baseball. Baseball is a big thing where it has the same sort of organ, kind of old-timey vibe. Right.
I've seen
has its own thing.
Ships that have changed their horns so that they have multiple different sounds.
Dude.
So like, or like that one like boat we have that's down in like New Orleans or something where it's like it's actually a steamboat and they have like a bunch of different steam things. They can make it whistle different ways.
Oh, that's so cool.
Rather than just letting the steam out, they can actually make it whistle in different ways or something, which is not a pipe organ but very amusing.
Yeah,
but fun.
But the thing is, it is still the same premise.
That's why I thought
you're just blowing air through pipes.
Right. Yeah.
But I can't think of a single instrument that I don't like.
Oh, no, me either. I'm just talking about like there are aspects of it.
I've said
sometimes
it already,
that are too much.
and this opinion is shared by cellists and violinists. Not a big fan of the violin. Want to know why? Cello just does it better. Everything a violin can do, a cello can do better. Violins are loud and whiny. Cellos are just mellow as hell. You know what? It's just cool as hell.
I have a very hot.
I know a couple of violinists who play violin who are like, yeah, I wish I could play cello. It's a better instrument.
Damn.
Don't get me wrong. I had a friend who played violin and like he was practicing in the other room and I walked in and I was like, hey, yo, can I just vibe in here for a second? Because the violin's still a great instrument. I'm joking. But at the same time, the cello is pretty fire.
I feel the same way. And this is a very...
Okay, hot take. Here we go.
Very hot take here.
Yeah, just throw it out.
Trumpet.
Freak the trumpet.
You don't like trumpet?
Again,
you know what? If anything a trumpet can do, a saxophone can do better. Was that the right comparison, or is there something else they could do?
I wouldn't say that.
They're two different sounds.
I would rather a trombone.
There we go. I was like,
See, a trombone,
I'm just.
yeah.
Let's be clear. I was just making shit up. I don't know. I don't know anything about instruments.
No. My favorite.
A trumpet
horn,
to me is
my favorite horn is the saxophone, hands down.
Mm-hmm.
And I know people don't like that a lot of times, but for me,
I kind of like the tuba.
The saxophone's just really impressive. It's
so
awesome.
fun, dude. It for me has that character of an instrument.
But the only place I've seen trumpets played is like military bases and Boy Scout summer camp.
The thing is, the thing is,
the only thing I've heard on trumpet is every morning.
The
That's the
thing
only
is,
thing I've heard.
for me,
taps.
For me, the trumpet in its element is good.
Mm-hmm.
The trumpet with other trumpets and other like horns of its variety, I think are great. I love it. Sometimes, for me,
It could just be a little too much.
The soloist,
get out of here, trumpet
the soloist, like the actual act of like performing a very impressive trumpet solo is impressive. I will say that.
Right.
But sometimes
impressive, but I never said it sounds good.
The high frequency of it, I'm just like, I can't stand to listen to like those really, really high squeaky notes. There's like, I'm like, okay, it's impressive and I appreciate it. It's the same reason why, and this is another hot take, and I will say this, I'm just going to start throwing hot takes. Whitney Houston.
I have a problem. Whitney Houston, we have a problem.
Is it like, you are an impressive singer? We get it. But sometimes after hearing like 3 songs, there was like
I couldn't tell you a single song that Whitney Houston sung. Is that just because I'm young? I don't know.
When I worked at the coffee shop, there was like a Whitney Houston appreciation month or whatever. I don't know what was going on, but there was a point in time where it was like,
who deserves an entire month, and how do I not know about them?
Whenever it was like 2 or 3 songs down, I was like, I said out loud with all the staff and the people, I was like, we get it. You can sing. Please. I can't take it anymore. It just gets to that point where it's like you're just like squealing and you're like doing these high runs, and it's like it's impressive once or twice. Once you're like 5 or 6 deep, I'm like, I can't anymore. I'm like, I want to take a break. But anyway, to get back to the original,
I've seen Whitney Houston before. Okay,
to get back to get back to the original topic is that I got to feel that atmosphere. Mm. There was like a 20 to 30 person choir that got to sing this song or hymn or whatever you want to call it, and there was no microphones, so it was just the natural room sound with this very big organ that like had this. The best way I could describe it was smooth sound.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't abrasive. I'm not sure if it was just how he was playing it or the stops he had or whatever, but like he played these like smooth chords on this huge organ that just filled the room with sound. And like he would hit some of these lower notes that would really, you would feel it. And
he hit the 30 dB range where your body shakes.
No, not like that.
Oh, dang. Well, never mind. Also, I looked up Whitney Houston, and I've heard her music, obviously, of course.
Yes.
Now that I've seen the names of them, and I get it. Yeah, every single song is her being like, like it's like that, but for like 20 songs. I totally get it.
That one time
I can only listen to 2 songs
anymore.
Exactly. I can listen to 2 of your songs back to back, and then I'm done for the week.
There is, and trust me, just work like an 8-hour shift where it's just nonstop.
I would leave.
I'm telling you, like
I would end up throwing up unintentionally and be like, guys, I'm sick, I'm out.
Yeah, I ended up changing the station, but there was a point in time where like she was also like hitting those like whistle notes where it's like,
oh yeah,
in some of those songs,
those are impressive, again, but also I don't.
You're right.
Yeah.
I'm like,
at that point, you're just a fucking bird.
Right. Yeah. Anyways,
we haven't talked about the movie once yet.
No, but the thing is,
it's
all part of this movie and this film is that
it's all about the music,
but is being like in that atmosphere and like being able to feel something. I was in that moment with that full choir singing the song I never heard before with this organ that's accompanying them, making it feel this certain way in this atmosphere. I was like, this is beautiful. I may not be able to sing in a choir like that, may not be able to play an organ, or may not even love an organ all the time in its certain setting, but in this moment with this atmosphere, that organ, this choir really being succinct and awesome, I was like, this is beautiful. And I felt something, and I had one single tear where I was like, man, this is a beautiful experience.
Single tear moment
where I was like, I am having this. I may not be like a super religious person, but like I can see how somebody once upon a time going into this huge facility, looking at this, this building of an instrument and going like, that is a God instrument right there. It's like, this is a beautiful thing. But anyways, I'm saying that to say like this movie tries to put in certain elements, like right at the top, tries to be avant-garde with certain things and tries to like make sound into like colors and shapes and
it gives you the run through of what to expect.
Yeah,
as far as like visually what they're gonna do.
I have always thought of like music and that atmosphere that I keep talking about with like a feeling, like an emotional response that you have.
Yeah,
is that you can listen to something and see something and feel something, but like this is taking that sound and then trying to put like a visual to it, which is really interesting. I thought that was really cool because I've always, like I said, attributed it with this other thing. Like I may not see colors or see things whenever I'm feeling this feeling,
Yeah.
But if I was to put it to words or to try and put it to picture, it would look something like this, where it's really interesting.
It is cool.
But to get into like to the meat and potatoes of this this movie, it basically is like animated cartoons that are over and like in tandem with
classic orchestral pieces.
Yeah. And it pairs very well.
It's Disney's. Their animators did their artistic rendition of it, and the guy at the beginning says that he says it's for the better that the artists are interpreting the music and the musicians aren't trying to write and animate something from their own music. He's like, it's probably for the better that the artists just did their own thing on top of it.
Right. Yeah. Right.
And it's interesting because sometimes it looks like they want where what's happening in the animation is causing the music. But sometimes, like I joked about with the lava, it sounds like the music
like the other way around.
Yeah, it looks like the music is causing what's happening in the animation, but sometimes it looks like the animation's causing it. So, like, whenever the lava was popping, it was making like a noise. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was obviously
like little clashes.
I was about to say, the problem is I can't describe it because there's like 40 instruments probably doing it, even though you can only hear like two of them, right?
It was a couple of crashes.
And so there's like a bunch of things happening every time the bubbles pop, but it sounds like the bubbles popping is causing the noise. So it's like the bubbles are causing gunfire, right? It's so crisp animated that it's like on time with it. So instead of feeling like the music is causing the animations like it does in the previous ones where we have the like Dew Fairies doing things and the music is like causing the dew to grow.
The Dew Fairies.
The Dew Fairies. We kept talking about the Dew Fairies.
Dew Fairies.
There was too many jokes about the Dew Fairies. I
just still imagine it's just some like girl dressed up in a Mountain Dew t-shirt with Tinkerbell wings.
I made a joke where I was like Dew Fairies and he was like the Mountain Dew Fairies and I was like, listen buddy, I would do the Dew, and we just moved on because that was a crappy joke.
No, it wasn't a crappy joke because then Dylan he branched off and he said, what did you say?
Do I really have?
Yeah, I think he said
Dew Fairies.
No.
Okay, I said I would Baja Blast all over them.
I do remember that. Yeah, I thought it was a Dew Fairies joke, but no, he said he would Baja Blast.
That's the worst.
I thought you
fuck was I thinking?
I thought you said I'm about
that
to
we
Baja
wouldn't bring
Blast.
it up on the podcast. That's what you were thinking. But yeah, like the Dew Fairies, it feels like the music is compelling them, right? But with the lava, it felt like it was compelling the music, which is really interesting.
Damn.
Shut up.
No, but like, can I just say, candidly here with all of us present in this moment in time and space,
if you can say it, we all agree the Dew Fairies were hot.
For 1940, this was definitely a horned up movie.
They put tits on everything, bro.
Yeah,
dude.
I made jokes the whole time because I was like, man, why they got these centaur girls not wearing clothes? And then they put clothes on them. I was like, see, now it's weird.
Now it feels weird.
And the fucking fish with the sex eyes.
Right, the fish with the lips. Sorry.
With the lips.
I'm not gonna say what I said.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
I may or may not have said that fish. They shouldn't have given that fish sexy eyes and dick sucking lips. They're sexualizing a fish. I'm sorry.
That's okay. We're 20 minutes in, so it's not bad.
No,
you just can't do that in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right.
That's bad.
I'll offend people and they'll click off. If you made it this far, listen.
Right.
I should have opened. No, but like they did that, and then I kept making jokes about the centaurs because like they have these centaurs not wearing clothes, but the problem is the Dew Fairies did neither. So like it feels normal because because they're not animating the tits too much.
Well, but also
Right.
the little Dew Fairies like small enough and slender.
Yeah.
And they're kind of like moving around.
I'm
They're
getting
like,
to that. Don't worry.
Okay,
I
okay.
talked about the centaur asses. I'm
No. I'm talking about the fact that like at the beginning, you're like they're moving fast enough and they're never really focusing on them. That you're like, even though they're kind of like implied nudity, you're like, it's not so bad.
It's almost like
it feels.
It's almost like the fact that they have Tinkerbell wearing almost nothing in Peter Pan all
Yes.
the time, and it just kind of feels normal because she's just so small.
Right.
But the thing is, when we get to centaurs, it does feel a little bit more weird. And I even joke, I was like, oh, okay, now we're getting to sexy time, apparently.
Right.
The problem is, again, it feels okay because everything else has been in this place. But then whenever they have they start covering them up, I'm like, you see, now it's
No.
weird.
And then may I say that before they cover them up again, we were told that there may be there's going to be
I was going
centaurettes
to
here
get to that. Wait.
because their horse bottoms are submerged in the water.
Mm-hmm.
So all you see is just these like
Oh, you just think that they're
sexy-
straight up naked ladies.
Yeah, they're just naked
Right.
ladies,
Yeah.
and they're all underneath the waterfalls. They have nothing on, and they're just like the stereotypical like you caught a bunch of ladies in the lake bathing, and you're like,
Right.
oh my gosh, this is so scandalous.
POV, you're a peeping Tom.
Right.
POV, all of Disney in the 1940s is a peeping Tom.
Right. And then, of course, they get out the water and like, oh, shit, she's a horsewoman.
Yeah, and the problem is they obviously. No, I made the joke toward the end that because the dudes were bigger, the dudes had bigger horse asses, and I was like, all right, what furry was behind the scenes of drawing these horses or the horse half of these people?
Right.
Because they kept at every turn they would animate the crack enough so you could tell. But the super remind like, hey, by the way, these horses
Yeah.
got nice asses.
Double cheeked up.
And at one point, the horse turns around. And I'm like, okay, the lady horse got a nice horse ass. The
Oh my
problem
God.
is we got this dude double cheeked up over here, and I'm like,
On a Thursday afternoon.
yeah, right,
Yeah.
hella ass. Right? And I'm like, why did they have to animate that much cake on that dude
Damn.
horse? Right?
You want to talk about yoked up?
Right, yeah.
Holy shit.
I never thought I would say this when I woke up this morning. Why did they put that much horse ass on that horse dude?
Yeah,
Like,
right.
right. So like
Holy shit.
the whole movie.
It just feels it feel like there's these moments in the film like that just feel so it doesn't feel aggressive or egregious.
It's
It
not
doesn't
overt,
feel
it's
overly
just-
sexual, but it's like it's enough to where you're like, man, this is a little
This is
Oh
kinda
wait,
weird.
I forgot there's a point I wanted
People
to
took
make.
their children to see this.
Yeah, which was fine, and because again, every time you see a scene where there's like the fairies or the centaurs, right? It's like okay,
It's not like super
it's okay,
detailed.
mainly because they do the thing that anime does, where like it doesn't feel weird because there's no nipple, so it's
Right.
like you don't almost see the boobs at all.
Right.
The problem is right at the end in Chernobog scene, they put nipples on the ghosts,
On
so
the
now,
harpies,
so,
yeah.
so now like all the harpies are flying by have tits and there's nipples, and so now
Yeah.
I'm sitting here like uncomfortable. I'm like, this feels egregious all of a sudden. right.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I feel uncomfortable now.
Yeah,
That's
there's a line, and of all the weird shit I've said, like why that dude got such a nice horse ass, right? Of all the weird
Harpy
things,
tits
right?
are what bother you.
Exactly, that's the line apparently,
Oh
which
my God.
I can almost guarantee you the point is for what was it, Night on
A night on Bald Mountain.
Bald Mountain. For the Night on Bald Mountain, the whole point is that Satan
in the
gathers
context
there.
of it makes sense.
So like it makes sense that they would build it up to this point where they do that at the end in the
Right.
quick final scene before the end of Night on Bald Mountain, because it would make you feel that way. Like what I'm saying is that it worked, but I don't know if I like it.
Right.
But like that was such like a good ending though, because again like that was like it was like a build up to feeling
Oh,
that
yeah.
way at the end.
Mhm.
I really enjoyed all the animations. To be fair, like I said, they were really interesting. It was really cool.
That's crazy.
You guys know what I like other than mecha and giant robots?
What's that?
Classical orchestra.
Dinosaurs.
Oh,
Actually,
really?
I really should have been able to guess that
I've
one.
mentioned this before, but before I was awakened to mecha, it was the fucking dinosaurs, dude.
but it checks out.
That was my shit. Big, dumb, stupid lizards. Used to walk
Yeah.
around all over the place being
Hell
all
yeah.
big, dumb, and stupid.
I like that this is in the 1940s and they thought that a drought killed the dinosaurs and not a meteor. And I
right.
was like, wait, guys, we have to pause. Like at the first
Yeah.
like 5 minutes, right? I'm like, we have
Dude.
to pause it because I'm like, wait, did we not always know it was meteors?
It's
And then I look
so-
it up, and I'm like, we still don't fully know it's a meteor, apparently. Like, it's still a theory. That's just the running theory because we think we found the crater. So it's like, okay, so we're like pretty sure it was a meteor,
Yeah.
but that happened in the 80s, so not even that long ago. And like in the 1940s, we were wrong. Now,
Yeah.
again, we're like from what I looked at, they apparently found the crater, so like we're pretty damn sure that it was a meteor. But I just still think it's funny that we're like sitting here like, well, the running theory is that it was a dust bowl in droughts, and it's like no, not even like. I mean, I guess it has been like
could have been one of the after effects maybe.
It has been like 80 years or something. Like,
right.
It's kind of ridiculous. I did that math in my head. It could be wrong. Oh wow, it's been 80 years actually.
Oh
no.
God.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
But,
Oh
Man.
One of the main reasons I love that scene with the Rite of Spring is like the beginning of like when it zooms into Earth and it's just a surface of volcanoes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of creepy.
Yeah, with the drums going nuts.
I like the
Strings.
whole scene of the like the smoke that I kept saying was poop water, but the smoke coming up and
the haze of time.
Right, the haze of time kept coming up, if we're gonna call it that, I guess.
Yeah.
By the haze your time.
Right. Yeah. I get getting hazed in time.
Yeah.
So getting hazed all the time, even. But like that smoke would come up and like the fish and amoebas would like grow. I thought the whole scene was cool of like the fish swimming around and stuff. I just thought that whole scene was really like fire. One thing that was weird to me though was like they never say any names or speak. So like where did most of these characters get the name? Where did Chernabog get his name? When did Yin Sid get named? Because he wasn't in anything other than Fantasia until he was in like a parade and then like Kingdom Hearts.
Right.
And then after that he's been in like Epic Mickey and other parades.
Yeah.
And he's been referred to in some of them as Merlin and not Yin Sid.
Yeah.
In one of the parades he was in, they just referred to him as Merlin. So I'm like, when did he get his...
So I believe that to answer that question, I'm not sure about any of the other ones,
Mhm.
but Yin Sid, or as I think he was known in the past, the wizard.
Yeah.
He was kind of loosely based off of Disney himself.
Well, yeah, I know it's Disney backwards, but like
I know
that,
that's what I'm saying. It's like he.
when did we decide upon that? I guess
I think it was probably in Kingdom Hearts or something. He was
random, yeah.
given that name,
But then like
because he was based off of Disney, they kind of
yeah.
You know.
But then also like Chernabog. Like I understand that Chernabog with an A refers to this, and Chernabog with an O refers to the like it's another. I literally just looked it up. I forgot what other like religion it was, but from like another belief system, it like translates directly into like black devil or something like that. And so Chernabog is like a translation to that. But like it wasn't during this movie that we decided to call him that, because in this movie nobody said anything. Right. And so it's like in this movie he's referred to as the devil actually, because they say that the devil gathers on a hill, and so it's like that's what kind of confused me, is like I know these characters' names maybe just because of Kingdom Hearts, maybe I don't know. Is it because of Kingdom Hearts that I know that? Like that's the thing where it's like I swore I knew Chernabog's name before I played Kingdom Hearts, but then again I played that game as a kid, so like I could be wrong. So that was one thing that like kind of confused me. When we got to the end of the movie I was like, wait, none of the characters were referred to as names except for Mickey, and even then. Which, by the way, it was nice to finally see the Fantasia scene of Mickey flooding him.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
Sorcerer's
What a
Apprentice.
classic, man.
Mm-hmm.
Epic.
I love that iteration of Mickey. I don't know why, but it just feels so classic to me.
I think it's because growing up, I kept seeing ads on Disney Channel about like the amazing, like and like the Fantasia ad was like always, like him like playing around with the wand, like trying to get the broom to move was always like the beginning of like Disney intros for Disney original movies and stuff. Like I grew up on Disney Channel, and so like I saw the scene of one of the scenes of Mickey getting that broom to move so many times growing up for having never seen Fantasia or knew what it was from.
Right.
And like I just that was like the Mickey outfit, is him having a wizard hat and being magical, and
I just love his red robes, his brown shoes.
I love
little peasant shoes.
It's again where we've already kind of been over this with CG, that we're probably never really going to go back to practical effects because we have CGI now. Like that's just the way that is. Yeah. And the problem is, I feel the same way with old animating styles.
Yeah.
I can't watch any animated cartoon or anything animated nowadays because I think it's just poorly done. I just don't like it. But then I look at these old cartoons like
hand-drawn shit, man.
Classic Tom and Jerry and like what was going on with Mickey. It's like, and I love the way they did it in like, it's like everyone, I guess it must have been like a flex or something to show that you're good at what you're doing, because everybody would roll up their sleeves or roll up their skin as if it was sleeves in like cartoons before they beat someone up. I know that that's like a thing, right? Like pushing up their sleeves to get in a fight, just to have the sleeves fall back down. Right. But the fact that everyone did it the same way, and like every animating thing like Tom and Jerry and all this, makes me feel like it had to be hard to animate, so everyone was just flexing. Right. Because there's other things that like are like that in shows. They, like to show that they were good at animating, they did the same thing. They had like they had a calling card that they would drop, you know.
Right.
And like just watching it though, I'm just so impressed how like his robe feels real. It feels like it has weight because it falls back down after he rolls this. Like it's so well done.
Oh yeah.
And I watch normal animated stuff now, and everything feels like floaty and like there's no gravity, and it feels like it's, I don't know, generated and not hand drawn. Does that like make sense? You know, like anything
'cause
animated now doesn't like feel like it's there in a way. It doesn't feel like someone, I guess, put effort into
as
it.
opposed to organic.
Exactly. It feels like they didn't put like the effort into it. It feels too. That's it. It feels like 2-dimensional. Whereas even a 2-dimensional animation felt kind of like 3-dimensional to me. It felt like there was life in it, you know. And so like watching pretty much everything, especially the water effects in that scene with Mickey, was so epic because it was just like, wow, they put so much effort into this. And then the bottomless buckets of water that every cartoon. He's walking around splashing water over, but the bucket stays full.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
The physics.
Yeah. But like
non-existent.
I just love that animation style. And to be fair, it was so well done in all of them.
I think another one of my favorite aspects is, again, going back to the Rite of Spring, big surprise.
Dinosaurs.
Big fucking favorite is whenever the T-Rex shows up.
Yeah, you said that the T-Rex was darker on the VHS, like it wasn't as well lit up.
My old
so he looked
VHS tape that I used to wear out on my VCR, the T-Rex was like you could not see any like skin details or anything like that. It was just his eyes and his mouth and his teeth.
Wow.
He was a gigantic silhouette stomping around trying to eat things.
Basically gave him nightmares because he was scared that giant dark Satan would eat him.
Yeah.
Nice.
Now, looking back at this motherfucker, he's still terrifying, but he's also like a super inaccurate, like old school depiction of a T-Rex, which I love.
Right.
Like he stands more upright, his tail drags across the ground. He's got 3 fingers.
Right.
And God, there's something about it that just clicks with me.
Speaking of dinosaurs, I just had this real pivotal moment. Remember that time you told me about that dream, like that reoccurring dream you had?
Yes, about my house in space with the T-Rex outside.
No, no. With the water, the water tank and the dinosaur.
Oh yeah,
shark.
in the pool the game room with the fucking Liopleurodon.
Yeah,
having to stay on my pool table.
I
find my way out.
I gotta be honest. You've probably told me about these, but that was a mental roller coaster to hear about. It must have been a long time since you've told me about these.
Yeah, it was.
I have to hear about both of them.
You told me.
That's the thing. They're the same dream.
It's worth mentioning it really quickly, just while we're on the topic of this. I have only had one reoccurring dream, and it's only reoccurred twice. No, never mind. I've had 2 reoccurring dreams. One of them only reoccurred twice, and the other one only reoccurred 3 times. And that was all before I was 10 years old. I basically never really dream, and they're never reoccurring. They're just random shit every time. They went from like probably having deep meaning, and like I look back at like what that could have meant as a kid to me, and like how I've grown since then. And now I wake up and I'm like, dude, it was crazy.
What the fuck was that?
Mike the Tiger was there. Oh my god! And he was like, "They're great." And I was eating Frosted Flakes, and I woke up.
What's great?
I woke up and I was like, "Man, I want Frosted Mini Wheats." What? like it's.
Mike, you're repping the wrong cereal, bro.
Right, exactly. I'm like, why am I craving something different still? Back to, I'm just saying really quickly, I've only ever had like 2 recurring dreams, and only one of them only happened twice. So like dream.
I just remembered that one because you told it in such great detail because it was very reoccurring that I even had a very vivid like imagination of it where I was
I remember like every
I thought you were about to say that you had a dream, and I was like, wait, no, don't tell me. If this is a toxic dream, I don't want to hear about it.
I never had the dream myself, but it was just he just described it so well that I felt like I had seen it.
It's been a while since I've had it, but I remember it.
I felt like I was there with him.
Yeah.
Wild.
It was nuts.
Wild.
Dreamcast episode 19.
Dreamcast, Sega.
Yeah. Dude, if it wasn't copyrighted, if we were allowed to make a podcast and call it the Dreamcast with Sega in parentheses, which we're probably not allowed to do, I would do it.
It's okay. I like the Saturn anyway.
Oh, get wrecked.
Damn.
Wow, hot take.
Call them out.
Yeah.
The one that had Panzer Dragoon on it.
Oh, yeah.
Well, all right.
There you go. It's already great.
There's that, yeah.
So this movie was apparently...
Oh, real quick, I said I wasn't going to bring this up, but briefly, I do actually want to. I was a little irritated that they said at the beginning, we watched this on Disney Plus, and at the beginning it was like, there are some things that are like rude and are, what exactly did it say? Do you like remember? It was like things that are bad. Demeaning depictions of things, and like because this is old, we think it's wrong to erase that. We want to acknowledge.
The warning said this program includes negative depictions and or mistreatment of people or cultures, and because of that, they have and it said that we want people to we want to bring attention to it, but we're not going to remove it. Is the cliff notes of what it says. Yeah. We're going to leave this in, but we want to know that this is hurtful and this is rude. And I was like, I like that. It's good to. I'm like, I think it's a little weird. I don't know if it's. I mean, this is from the 1940s. We already know that like anything in here could be rude and hurtful. Right. So like, I think it's a bit
still good to acknowledge that.
Yeah, exactly. But I think it's like a bit too much. But at the same time, it's big company. They have to do what they've got to do. So like, I'm cool with them having that up front because it lasted for like 11 seconds and you could move on. And I was like, it's good to have that there for people. I watched the whole thing. Was like,
I feel like this is my belief on it. It is good to acknowledge the past, and it is good to acknowledge how far we've come. But I think that sometimes they feel like they're riding this fine line between doing that, acknowledging that they were doing wrong, and then by people consuming that media of some kind, that therefore they are almost endorsing it.
Oh yeah,
which I don't believe that's the case. I think you can watch this old 1940s film and then and watch it as it is. But I think that these big companies, they will say that, but then they're also like, we as a quote unquote company are nervous that by us having this on here and people watching this,
that we're going to catch flack for it.
Not that they're going to catch flack for it, is that they are somehow not doing their part to silence that, and then they're almost endorsing it. Like, but it is okay to have this bad depiction of people.
But either way, this is from the 1940s, so it's like there is no endorsing that anymore. Like this is out there, this is done. So I think that them just saying up front is fine. But the issue I have is that I finished the entire movie and was like, gotta be honest, I didn't catch anything. Now, I mean, maybe I'm not the target audience to feel like there was something demeaning in there, but I was like, I didn't catch anything. So I looked it up, why that thing was there. Turns out they said that they didn't remove anything, but they removed like 5 or 6 scenes, like whole minutes of footage because it was demeaning. Now, don't get me wrong, the footage they removed, I see why they removed it. Right, I do. But I think that it's completely wrong to falsely say, I'm not going to remove this, and then remove it anyway. Don't even, if you're going to remove that stuff, then don't even say that anything up front. Right. You removed the bad stuff, didn't you? So it's like what's the point? And that's what I don't like. It's like there's such a hypocrisy there where it's well, this is bad, but we're not going to remove it because we think it's good to look back on this and know it was bad because we should learn from our mistakes. Right. And I feel like this is definitely I kind of said it before the podcast. Like, if you forget history, you're doomed to repeat it. Where it's like, by just trying to erase the fact that this thing was a horrible depiction and was just awful and rude in the 1940s, by just trying to erase that and cut it out of Disney Plus entirely, we're like trying to forget it. Well, forgetting it's how something like that happens again. Right. And I think that's just wrong, So that was one thing, I guess, that just recently kind of annoyed me, because I was like, man, why say you're going to cut something out and then you're not going to cut something out and then do it anyway? Right. Why? You're bringing attention to yourself now.
I've got a couple of fun facts for you guys if you want to listen to them. I love fun facts. It said that it was a commercial failure at first.
Wow. Yeah. And now it's a classic.
Exactly. It said that Fantasia
It's just like Morbius.
Oh, God.
At one point, the guy says Morpheus, and I immediately just said, run it back. He's got to say it. He's got to say it again.
Ethan's Morb meter went off the fucking
No, it went to like an 8 because I realized he said Morpheus and not Morbius. But for a second, I was like, run it back. I got to hear him say more. Yeah. Oh, he said more. Oh, man.
Oh, man. I'm reading some of these, and I'm actually really sad to hear some of this.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Basically, it said that Fantasia is regarded as one of the highest grossing films of all time when adjusted for inflation, with its over $83 million at the box office. But it did not open to huge numbers because of the special equipment needed to show the film originally. The theatrical release was very small, as were the sales. They helped the film... what helped the film was its longevity. Fantasia ran for 49 consecutive weeks in New York and nearly as long in Los Angeles as well.
Damn.
which set an all-time record back in 1941. It was also returned to theaters several times over the course of 50 years.
Jeez.
Pretty sure. I knew about
disappointment.
that part, where it went back to theaters.
The disappointing initial performance was, and the onset of World War II killed Disney's dream to create a sequel, which he had already started planning in his head, but never got a chance to do it.
And I guess Fantasia 2000's like kind of that. I mean, obviously, the guy who created it didn't. I mean, it's like a posthumous.
Disney was definitely
it's like a posthumous sequel, but like they do have another, which we did need to watch it too. Apparently,
I do really like 2000.
It said this film changed the way Mickey was drawn. Walt Disney created Mickey Mouse back in 1928. The character did
1928. Sorry.
Yeah,
he's almost 100 years old.
Yeah, he is.
Oh God.
The character did evolve over the years from his first official appearance in Steamboat Willie, but Fantasia marked a pretty major change by artist Fred Moore.
What's the change?
One of the adjustments that Moore made to the design of the character was to
make his ears 3 times bigger.
No. Was to give him pupils for the first time instead of black ovals.
I have to look up
that once stood for his eyes. Moore is also credited with shortening Mickey's nose and giving him his now signature white gloves as well. He didn't have gloves before then.
Huh.
This is like the first. I think I see why now this was.
You are certainly right. Yeah, he had gloves there. But yeah, I could definitely see what the pupils did a lot for him. He was kind of terrifying without them. I gotta be honest.
Right.
Because like I have one of him in Steamboat Willie where he's like scraggly looking.
Yeah, the old school.
Then I have one of him wearing this, but he's still white with no pupils. He has gloves on though. And then I have one of here where he's got like the gloves and you can see the pupils, which make him less. And his nose is a bit small. Yeah, he's definitely less terrifying with pupils. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
Right. I think I see why now that they.
Or I should say with white eyes and black pupils, not just black eyes.
Just black circles. It said that this is Disney's longest animated feature.
Really?
Yeah, for its general.
It was 2 hours and like some change.
Yeah.
6-7 minutes, something like that. Yeah.
It said that for its general release and past restorations, Fantasia was cut to reduce its final running time. But at 2 hours and 6 minutes, the film is still the longest animated feature the studio has ever made.
Wowzers.
It would have been even longer, and this is the part that makes me sad to hear. It would have been longer, but the 9th segment, Claire de Lune, which is one of my favorite piano pieces, was nixed during production.
Damn.
The segment was later restored and included in the comedy musical Make Mine Music.
Wait, why was it cut though?
I guess
not
for
enough time. Yeah.
It was already 2 hours basically, and of course I think another like 15-minute segment.
And they also had a 15 intermission. To be fair, you could have just.
Yeah.
I guess that's why they had an intermission. That intermission happened after the halfway mark. So yeah. I think more movies should have intermissions. Yeah. Hot take. More movies should have a 15-minute intermission. Yeah. If it's in the theaters and it's more than 2 hours long, halfway through, give me an intermission. I don't care if it's a freaking Marvel movie. Just have freaking Deadpool show up and be like, I have to piss and so do you, 15, and have a timer. That's all you need. Come on, Marvel.
Especially if the film approaches the 3 hour mark.
Which every film does nowadays. So like at this point, at the hour and a half mark.
Why they stopped.
If it's
probably because it's hard to, again, in the Marvel movie, it's hard to like break character on these action movies. They probably don't want to like try and do something like that. But I'm just saying, Deadpool could show up and be like, I'm out of popcorn, haha. Like, no, you know what they should do? They should Emperor's New Groove it. Have a video pause, give someone a red pen, and just start doing funny shit on there with a timer in the top left that has 15 minutes on it, right? And he just starts drawing like dicks and stuff on the screen, right? And it's just Deadpool being like, I have a servant coming to fill my popcorn. Like, dude, come on.
Right.
Every movie should have an intermission now because if it's in theaters, no one wants to leave. You got a room full of like, depending on the movie, between 5 and like 40 people, and by the end of this movie, every last one of them's got to piss. Half of them got to shit.
Damn.
And it's like that movie theater bathroom. It's got 2 toilets in it. That's it. Maybe a urinal.
2 good ones.
Yeah.
No, none of them are good. If you're being fair, I mean, in comparison to some of the toilets I've been in, but
Oh,
you know,
God.
and it's like more movies should have intermissions. That's all I'm
Yes,
saying. This was
definitely.
unheard of back then to have something 2 hours clearly, but like now, freaking 3 and 4 hour movies.
So part of the reason why it was such it didn't succeed was because of the sound that it had at the time. It said that one of the reasons the film made such an impact, but was also not as popular as it probably should have been because of the equipment that was required to actually facilitate it, was because of the unique sound system that it had. It was called Fantasound.
Oh, wow.
Was made
It
specifically
was probably like
for the film.
nothing, but it's in the 1940s.
Yeah, hold on. And it was basically the first version of surround sound in a movie theater.
That makes sense, though. This
yeah.
movie would be the one that would require
Right.
surround sound.
Definitely.
And it said that the system used 9 optical recorders, using 8 music tracks plus a click track for timing the animation. It was a whole lot of stuff that was involved to make it all operational. So
That's crazy.
yeah, that's actually really crazy to think about.
Fantasound.
Fantasound.
And now we just have Dolby surround sound.
Yeah.
Dolby. That sounds goofy. I'm missing what Fantasound back, bro.
Yeah.
Oh man.
All in all, I'd say it was a pretty good watch.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was definitely interesting because I actually didn't know that it was just a visual orchestra. Didn't know that. And so when you're like, it's a visual orchestra, I was like, what the frick does that even mean? And then the guy is literally like, I'm
It's
like,
let me explain.
no, exactly. I'm like, what the frick does that mean? And the dude's like, I'm going to explain what a visual orchestra is immediately. Like,
And you're like, oh, nice.
Oh, okay,
because
cool.
I thought, what the frick does it mean? Like, right as you press play. And so the guy's like, we are going to talk about music and how there are different. And I was like, oh, okay. I guess
Like, wow,
I guess
cool.
I guess that'd be what it means. Okay. All right. It's that easy.
That's crazy. Disney had digitally re-recorded the soundtrack for the 1982 release of the film because Walt thought that the original sounded dated. However, the 50th anniversary release, they decided to revert back to the original soundtrack. They cleaned up the soundtrack as much as possible. This was one of the reasons why it took them 2 years to restore the film for its 50-year anniversary.
Because they couldn't make up their mind.
Yeah.
And then when they did make up their mind, they had to clean it.
Wow.
Right.
I liked it. I didn't really. I mean, I guess it's now almost. We're getting close to 100 years is coming up on this now. So the 50th release was a long time ago. But I mean, like, I guess I didn't notice it as much. So maybe they cleaned it up pretty well. Unless what's on Disney Plus is a further remastered version, I don't know.
Yeah, me neither.
Because I just don't know. I know we had in the house growing up. I saw the Fantasia remastered DVD, so I saw the remastered version because we had that, and it said that. But I mean,
Oh, okay.
or like maybe it wasn't a DVD. I saw a some kind of logo that was like Fantasia remastered somewhere in the house growing up. I recall seeing that, but
It said that films of this nature, of this animation, were normally assigned a color palette so that everything felt cohesive. But for Fantasia, Walt gave the animators free reign. They were able to choose any color they would like for scenes and for
good.
moments like that.
Nice.
And obviously, I think they did a fantastic job.
Good. Yeah. The Dew Fairies, bro. There were so many different colors going on there. I keep bringing them up because honestly, probably my favorite part of the movie.
Yeah.
I'll be honest.
They were
Because like
nice.
the amount of different colors that went into it and the amount of like floatiness that happened and them just waving their hands and the music doing things really fit. So
I
like
the floral foray.
yeah, the flowers dancing. I like the flowers dance and then it like pauses and is like an art piece of
Yeah,
the
like
flowers
the
and I was
still
like,
frame.
whoa, when did we just get hardcore? That was epic.
So far, I loved.
We went from dancing animated flowers to HD flowers.
I don't feel like I fully got a grasp on the final sequence.
Oh yeah.
What was it? The mountain?
The night on Bald Mountain.
A Night on Bald
But no, it's
Mountain.
the other half where it
No,
Ave Maria.
all of it. The whole final sequence. Like, I
yeah.
want to watch that all again because it was just a transition from
the bad to good he talked about.
Yeah.
Where it's like, yeah. The good part, I'll admit.
I
Like,
loved it, though.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I thought it was clean as hell, man. I thought it was really cool, but it's a lot going on screen again. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
so
It's worth a watch for sure.
if you like music.
Even
you
if it is
should watch
problematic.
problematic's a relative term.
Dude, like
It's
I said,
old.
watching it and it being in 1940 and the way they talked, and it was
Okay,
like,
yeah, I mean,
plot.
yeah, they talk like they're from 1940s, yeah.
This is the
And-
1940s.
And at times
We
you can
talk
hear
how
some
we
things that make
want.
the sound like it's not from right. But I'll be honest,
Yes.
it doesn't feel like it's a 1940s film. Mainly
No.
because it's all like this hand-drawn animation with music in the background.
Yeah.
So apart from the fidelity of the audio, maybe giving it away, I don't think it feels like as opposed to watching like The Breakfast Club from the 80s and feeling like, man, this
Oh,
movie's
yeah.
like, it feels
Oh,
old, right?
yeah.
Everything feels old. Everything you see feels old. I'm watching this 1940s film and because it's all just animated. And yeah, that guy's talking funny, but
What
also I
was-
haven't seen a conductor,
Oh.
so like they could all be like that, right? So like suspending disbelief. This does not feel.
What
This feels
was-
less like it's from the 40s than Breakfast Club does from the 80s. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Remember Cool Hand Luke?
Yes.
What
Oh
wasn't
man,
that?
Sick Hand Mike.
Wasn't that? Yeah.
That's like the oldest movie that we've watched.
Yeah. Well, but besides probably this one, because I want to say
Yeah, I
that
think this
one-
might be older.
that
Yeah.
one was
Cool Hand
filmed-
Luke was like in the 50s.
No,
I
no,
think
no.
so.
I want to say it was even older than that.
swear
I remember
it
we
was 50-something.
we looked at it and we were like, oh man,
I want to watch Cool Hand Luke again. That was fire.
Yeah. That was
It's
good
been a
one.
while, but I remember that it had that same vibe of like we're watching this, and I was like, this feels like
Cool
it's
Hand,
an
no,
old-
67. I was off.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
See, that's still old though.
but the thing is, it's a oh my god, there's like a moth flying around. in
Yeah,
here.
I keep waving him,
Damn.
waving him off of me.
I want to say, it was made in the 60s, but it was filmed in the 50s. So like it just has that
or no, it's based in the 50s.
based in the 50s.
Yeah.
Regardless, it just has that old timey vibe where you're like, oh man, this is.
Mhm.
Anyways, had that same sort of feel to it, like
Oh, yeah.
you know,
Yeah, I like that movie. That's a good movie.
good movie, good film.
10 out of 10. Would watch it.
Dang.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, this was good though. I need to see 2000 now.
Fist
Yes,
hands, McMike.
definitely.
But also I need to watch Pinocchio. What's another classic? I don't think I've seen Dumbo.
I think
Yeah.
you've seen Pinocchio, but I think it's been you were a child when you watched it. Like,
Doesn't
you don't
count then.
remember
If I was less than 5 years old, doesn't count. I didn't watch it. I didn't have a brain.
it. I don't have a brain.
Hadn't been
I
made
was an
yet.
idiot.
Yeah, I mean, hey, 5-year-old Ethan was dumb as
Barely
hell.
functioning.
You'd asked him what freaking 4 times 13 was, and he'd be like, duh. And to be fair, I'd still say that, but I'd give you an answer eventually.
You'd chuckle and then run away.
Exactly. 5-year-old Ethan was a little gremlin. So
Oh,
also
man.
still have gremlin energy, but
Nice.
Right.
but yeah, I don't think I've seen Dumbo. Not that I recall. That's another one. Come on, another ancient Disney movie that I haven't seen. That if I mentioned
there's
it
a
to
whole
someone, they
bunch
would be
of 'em.
disappointed in me.
Sleeping Beauty.
I've seen that one. I mean,
Oh,
boy, has it been a
okay.
long time. Like same with Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. But I couldn't tell you how it happens.
Yeah.
But I could tell you how the beginning goes and how the end goes. Sleeping Beauty, I actually do recall like random parts in the middle. Like I watched that. I do random parts. I remember that she's named Aurora.
Yeah,
That's more than like half the people.
Right, right.
Right.
And I don't know. That's another one.
Cinderella.
Oh boy,
Yeah,
that's been
you
a long
said you
time.
hadn't seen that one actually.
I mean, I have because I think I had. I thought.
I've seen that one.
Yeah, I'm pretty
It's
sure
been
I'd
a
seen
long
Cinderella,
time.
but that one again. I feel like actually I've seen Cinderella recently enough that I don't know if I'd need to see it again. You know, I feel like it just came on Disney Channel once whenever I was like 16,
yeah.
and I was like, no, I've never seen this, and just watched the whole thing. Because I've definitely I'm recalling just how the movie plays out in my head right now. Yes,
Oh,
I've seen
you
Cinderella.
know which ones we need to watch?
Sorry, the
We do
moth
why do
one.
we do
Wah,
we
wah,
do
woo, woo.
There's a
yeah
moth in
woo
my
do
face.
woo do is Treasure Planet
Yes.
and Atlantis.
Yes,
Okay,
dude.
so the reason why we didn't watch those were on the list the other day whenever we were like we should watch something while eating,
Yeah.
and I didn't pick either of those.
Because I haven't watched Treasure Planet.
You haven't watched Treasure
I've
Planet?
never watched Treasure
See,
Planet.
right there.
dude.
What I just did is why we have this podcast.
Yes, exactly.
Because with how much I've seen Treasure Planet and I'm in the same household as you, that's surprising to me.
Right.
But not only that, it has been when I tell you at least a decade since I've watched Atlantis.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Oh man, what a good movie that
So
was.
I'll be
love
honest,
that
I watched Treasure Planet more than once, but I don't.
Yeah.
It's been a long time, clearly, because I don't remember much about it. Atlantis, I watched half a dozen times probably, and I'm willing to watch it again.
Pocahontas.
Yeah.
No.
That's been a while.
No, have not seen that one. Not that I can recall.
Tarzan.
Yeah, no, I've seen Tarzan.
It's been it's
It's
been
been a long
We could do a
time.
podcast episode on Tarzan, but I have seen it.
I don't think I've watched the full film of The Hunchback of Notre Dame.
No, I've
That's a
actually.
good
We
one.
should do that because I've actually.
Yes.
I've heard so much good stuff about that one, but I have actually
Dude,
never
Hellfire
seen
is my favorite.
Hellfire. What?
The song.
Okay, I was about to see.
It's,
Okay,
it's one of the
wait,
musical
no,
numbers.
wait, no, shut up, because I don't want to spoil it. We're gonna watch that.
Yeah.
I've heard so much good things about The Hunchback of Notre Dame, and I've never seen it, and so I need to watch that one. But here's another one. Like I saw that one meme where it's like, I am a pious man. But there's a dummy thick gypsy girl out there with no shoes on.
Damn.
I love that meme.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have, but also I can tell you this with confidence. I have never seen the original Hercules movie.
Really?
That's one that we.
That
should
was
Oh
gonna
my
say. I was
God.
wondering here. Hercules.
I have never seen
Dude,
the Hercules. I
another
think it's
big
because my mom didn't like want us to growing up for some reason because ancient
Yeah.
gods and we were kids at the time. I
Right.
don't know. Who
Peter
knows?
Pan. Peter Pan.
Yeah, I've seen. We could do if we want to, right? But I'm just gonna make jokes about Tinkerbell being thick if you watch that. Like that's literally it. I'm gonna make Binker tell jokes. No, that's gonna be it.
We've
But
all
I've seen that.
We've all seen Lion King.
Yeah.
Duh. I mean, obviously, I've seen 1.5 more than 1 and 2 combined. Because 1.5 is the best Lion King.
What about Bambi?
No,
Oh,
I just know that Bambi's mom gets shot.
Ramby
It's been a while.
Bambo.
I'm not
I
gonna.
remember
I'm not
whenever
gonna say-
Ethan
Oh, God.
he saw Bambi 2 and it's like, there's a second one?
What,
They
did
shot
you
his
shoot
mom twice?
Yeah.
And I was like, no, they shot his dad.
We scrolled down and said Bambi 2, and I was like, there's a second one. What, they shoot his mom again? That's what I said. God, that's so
Oh,
bad.
dude, the original Robin Hood.
I thought you were going to make,
Yes.
I thought you were going to make, no. What? Bits and pieces. I can remember, but no, I don't think I've seen the whole thing. Now,
Robin Hood lived.
now the
out
thing is,
in the
oh, dude,
forest.
Zootopia. No, okay, wait.
Okay,
real quick. Robin Hood, I think we should do an episode on it just because I think that it is the perfect instant classic Disney film. So I'm going to say it right now. And that moth.
Yeah, it's kind of obnoxious.
I'm going to say it, and this is I'm putting my chips on the table here.
Aight.
To everyone who likes Disney movies, Tangled is objectively better than Frozen. I said what I said.
Yes.
I don't think Frozen.
I don't think anybody would
Full
fight you on
agreement.
that.
But the problem is, Frozen became this huge instant classic thing, and Tangled did not get that kind of airtime. I think that Tangled is probably the best instant classic Disney movie I've ever seen. I think just because of how much I loved watching it. And to keep in mind, I watched this whenever I was like 18 years old when it came out. Like, I watched this as a grown-ass man.
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was a well-done movie. So I'm just going
Definitely one
to
of
say,
my
I don't
favorites.
think I've seen Sword in the Stone.
Dude, Sword and Stone. Is
Yeah, it's by my face. This moth, bros. Moth cast.
I think it's time for us to head out. He's gonna keep pestering us.
Right.
But yeah, no, there's a couple of them there. So I think we should just have like Disney Week for a while
yeah.
and just watch. Because I mean, we've already
That'd be
just
cool.
named quite a few, and they're all movies that like.
The
Okay,
big
maybe
ones-
people like my age would be like, "Oh, you haven't seen Pinocchio? Neither have I." But like anyone 4 years older than me, 5 years older than me, would be like, "Dude, how have you not seen
fuck
Pinocchio?
is wrong with
what
you?"
are you damn Gen Z child?" I found out that I'm technically in Gen Z, and I keep making Gen Z jokes
Oh,
and saying things
goodness.
like "no cap, on God, for real," and bussin'. Because
God.
I'm
In that
like,
order?
oh man, we watched Tinkerbell, no cap, on God, for real, bussin'. But like, I keep saying these things. So I'm like, well, I guess I'm Gen Z. I may as well like
Just
Right.
falling apart.
I'm part of these youngins now.
Nah, son.
I'm at the
You know
oldest.
what generation I'm part of? Human.
I think, yeah, good for you.
His anime
right? Yeah.
side.
Every
This moth is trying to kill me.
Every time the moth gets closer, I'm gonna make an anime grunt. But yeah, like I'm like among the oldest people to be in Gen Z, but like I'm still there, and I was like, well,
Right.
I guess I'm one of these youngins now.
Just barely.
Shut
up.
God,
Oh
please.
man, this is not bussin'.
Absolutely goated in the sauce.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Oh man.
Oh, man. But yeah, I think that we should do that and just watch some of these things.
Oh, yeah.
I think because I keep mentioning it, and bring it up. I think we should probably do Pinocchio first, just because it's the
I
one
really
that I've
wanna
talked
wa-
about the most.
I really
But-
want to
And
watch
that'll be the star
Atlantis.
that you wished upon.
Yeah. What? So
part of the movie, you'll see.
Oh, and I mean, I've heard like that soundtrack.
Yeah, that's what it's
because
from.
like whenever like the
Criminy
beginning
Jicket.
of every Disney was like nah,
Yes.
nah,
Oh,
nah. Right?
God.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
So I'm not the only one. I thought you almost said that's Pokemon.
Pokemon.
Pokemon, man. Gotta catch them all, man.
Do you wanna catch them?
But yeah, we can definitely do Atlantis and Treasure Planet. I've seen
Planet.
I've seen Planet.
Serenity.
You add a U to anything, make all the L's an R, you can speak. Yeah. If every L is an R and you add a U to it, you have made Japanese. Planet. Instead of apple, you call it an apru. Guess what? You're Japanese
I
now.
love it.
Yeah, we can watch those. I'm down.
Definitely.
Cool. Well, anyways, let's go ahead and leave this.
Outro time.
Let's leave this podcast
Wow,
before we
nice
get attacked by
segue.
Mothra over
I
here.
was gonna make a shock baton joke for the
Shock
moth.
baton.
Yeah, you haven't seen those? It's like a tennis racket.
Oh, yes,
it's
I
an
have.
electrified. No, it's an
Yeah,
electrified
my
tennis
dad
racket.
does.
Have you used one? They're
They're
hardcore.
so much fun.
Right? You turn it on, and then when you hit it, it makes a noise like
They pop.
it makes a noise that's akin to a like.
I've got a video to show you after this is all done with.
It's akin to it. That sounded like a threat. Look at you. That's like a
It-
subtle threat.
Because it is.
It's like a miniature version of a cop's taser. Have you ever heard a cop
Yes.
dry fire their taser without the thing in, where it makes the noise?
Oh, yeah.
It sounds like that if you hit multiple. So I hit 3 flies once, and it made that noise, and I was like, I have to hit my friend with this. I was like, wait.
I have to find the nearest human to test
I
this
bugged
on.
him, and I don't know if I don't remember what happened after that. To be honest, I guess it wasn't interesting because he didn't like explode. So
the only thing I wanted to say was I watched a man play an electric flask water like an electric guitar, going
my
yeah,
God.
like started shouting and stuff, and it did not go well. He just
Dude,
started
jeez.
zapping himself like an idiot.
that sounds like my kind of playing instruments on hard mode. Yeah. I
Um,
long to live life on hard mode. I got Crohn's disease by choice.
You do.
Oh man, I didn't get Crohn's disease by choice. So thanks for watching.
Anyways, like he said, if there's ways that you would like to try and get in touch with us, we have a Linktree/Ian Wolf. You can find all the links in the description of this episode.
If you leave a 5-star review somewhere, I'll read it in
The show notes. Okay. Wow.
I have to figure out how to read
Yeah,
the
you gotta-
5-star
It
reviews.
should be on.
But I'll read it next week.
But anyways,
And
you
I'll
can
call you
just
out by name.
type in the Aftermath on all the major podcasting platforms, and you should be able to find us there. If not, like I said, there's a link tree where you have all the links there. You can just get all that there. I can't even think straight right now.
Podcast over. Goodbye.
Podcast over. Thank you so much for listening, and until next time,
See you later, fuckers.
bye bye.